For me, the journey into the world of media is divinely orchestrated. When I actually was born as a stammerer, and so you actually imagine, just try to envision a stammerer talking on radio. I'm sure all of the listeners will just tune off. And it was not just stammering for me; it was a chronic one that struggled to even mention my name. And so, if as a media man, as a radio presenter, you can't even introduce yourself by calling your name on radio, then it shows that there's a fundamental problem. And so, at about the age of 9 and 10, how God miraculously took that away from me. Reminiscing right now, looking down the memory lane, I realized this is actually what God wanted because He knew for me to effectively and efficiently contribute my quota in the media space, it needs my voice for that and so. And for Him to be glorified in whatever He has done, it took away that weakness. It took away that disability, which is actually stammering. And here I am, today. And also, another great pointer to the fact that I was actually wired and designed specifically for the job that I do today is the fact that because of my upbringing, the only language I understood back then was my native Idoma language and Hausa language. And I'm actually in a society where the official means of communication is English language. And I couldn't communicate in English language. And I remember then my classmate in school called me Baturenchi, which means no English language, I can't speak English language. And it will pain me a lot. And most of the time I had to fight, I had to get physical just because they will always mock me by calling me Baturenchi. And a few years in fast forward, by the special grace of God, English languages has become one of the most fluent languages I can actually speak. And then the Hausa language has taken the backstage. Though I still understand Hausa language very well because I've taken backstage, I can no longer speak fluently and communicate fluently in Hausa language the way I would do in English language today. And so for me, those two experiences, um, they're actually very significant in my life and in development as a person. This is actually our signature when you want to sign in. You're still tuned and listening to Joy FM 96.5. Otukpo. Time checking to right now is exactly 19 minutes past top of the hour, 1 p.m. And should you just tune in, you're wondering what's happening. This is Sport Extra on Joy FM 96.5. Otukpo with yours, speak to yours truly, James the Extra Large. I am Agbo James Nalebu, but they know me as James the Extra Large because of the job that I do. I am from Odudaje in Okete Ward, Otukpo local government area, Benue State, Nigeria. Um, I was born to the family of Master Warrant Officer Agbo Lunta, retired right now, and I'm back in the village. Well, I didn't really grow at home. I wasn't born here. I was born in Lagos, and I started my primary education in Far North, in KB State, Sokoto State, and then my all were actually in army children's school there because my dad was a soldier. And then in Enugu, where I actually had my secondary education, Commander Secondary School in Enugu. From there, I proceeded to Ebo State University, where I actually read industrial mathematics and I majored in mathematics and computer. I've worked in different sectors of the economy. I've worked in the hospitality industry. I've worked in the construction industry, manufacturing industry, and most recently in media, which is actually where I am, and then that was actually where I actually got the name James Extra Large. By the special grace of God, that's where I've carved out a niche for myself. That people actually have gotten to know me and the potentials that God have deposited in me. Um, each time I tell people that I didn't read mass communication, I've never read anything to do with media communication. I just found myself in it, and then by special grace of God, I'm enjoying it. I'm having all of the fun, and I'm among those very few privileged ones that play and then they earn as they play because I enjoy the job that I do. I'm playing and I'm being paid, for the play that I play. And so when you love your job, you know, the work becomes a play, and that's what it's actually been, for me. And I'm also a football administrator. I'm the FA chairman of the local government area. So I get to work with a lot of kids, who want to become professional footballers. And I'm also a behavioral change by training. I've had capacity building training, seminars and workshops as to how to help the society get better, how to help be a change agent in a very dynamic world that we live in right now, where vices, negative tendencies are actually, taking over. We still, stand as beacon of light, to the younger ones. Still, try to put them right, regardless of how difficult it is, to get someone genuinely to correct, out of love. So it's actually been an amazing journey, so far, and I enjoy a bit of everything, that I do. So here and there, it's just been a great journey so far, and I give God all the glory for where I am today. Growing up, I always wanted to be an engineer. I grew up under a father who is an electrical technician, so I became so fascinated with seeing him with all of those electrical equipments, and gadgets, doing all of those wire, connections and all that, fixing the ceiling fan, fixing, the table fans, pressing iron, and all of those electrical appliances. I was actually very fascinated with all of those. So, as a child, I aspired to be an engineer, not just any kind of engineer, but a mechanical engineer, because I wanted more. I fell in love with cars as early as 5 years old, and I said I would really love to know the mechanism that propels in a car to move. And so I started asking questions, and I realized that the mechanical engineers are the ones that are primarily saddled, with the responsibility of making that happen. That was actually my thought, then, and that was actually how my visual capacity could actually take me there. And so I dreamt of being a mechanical, engineer. But again, growing up and getting older, all of those, changed again. And then I realized I later developed the flair to become a professional footballer. I played football for a while, but then after I got my admission to the university, because of the hectic nature of the course I was running at the time, industrial mathematics, my dad was always on my neck. You can't combine both because you need to be super active for you to successfully graduate as a mathematician. That is actually very, very hectic at that point. And with time, I actually yielded. I bought to pressure, and then I stepped aside. And so for me, talking sports, talking football on radio these days was actually, those energy I couldn't channel into playing the game and become a professional footballer. So this I channel those inspiration and all of those energy into talking football on radio and sports, in general. So it's actually been a journey coming at different phases of my life. I've had different dreams. The way I got into media, it was like stumbling into it. But then I was able to find purpose in media. I was able to actually affect a lot of life positively through the voice and the platform that I've been given. I've been able to change lives, through the platform via, my radio programs. I've been able to connect. I've been able to reach out to a whole lot of people via that same platform of media, particularly radio. So it has actually been an amazing journey, and I thank God that I found purpose where I am at the moment. I fell in love with media because of my dad.
Okay.
My dad is an added listener of NTA. Added, he follows virtually all NTA's program, most especially their network news.
Mhm.
And I would say my love for media started when I started listening to um, Frank Olise of blessed memory,
Yeah.
NT staff. And there is this popular guy, there, Ismail Abanu, also of NTA, and Cyril Stoba, which actually happens to be my number one of the best casters of the news I've seen and heard. And so my love for media started, you know, from my early experience sitting with my dad and listening to watching the television TA news and listening to people like Frank Olise, Cyril Stoba, and all those other people, talk on television. I became fascinated with the work they do. I became um, very interested in trying to mimicking some of these persons to talk the way they talk and their very unique accent and how they seamlessly express and communicate through English language. It was actually um, a very pleasant sight, to behold. And then fast forward, down the line, my first contact, with radio is me coming back home in 2016. I came to the village to visit my parents, and it was at about all August, September, thereabout. And I knew I always had it in me. I love sport a lot. I love football. And so, because I couldn't continue with my dream of playing professional football, I channel all of this inspiration energy to talking sports. So, even at home, and to my friends, I could actually analyze football matches, analyze basketball matches. I could analyze a whole lot of sporting activities and all that. And so, one day I was lying at home and the sport presenter as at that time, Ramsey the Sport Machine, now made an announcement that if you can actually analyze, why not come on a Saturday and then let's see if we can actually put you on to be sport analyst. And that was actually a turn up, but not without some reluctance. Anyway, my younger brother was like, he kept encouraging me. You have, it's not just sport, your way of even analyzing political issues is even more interesting than the way you would analyze sport and all that. And so I decided to take the chance and I went. And the way they say the rest is history. But I remember one notable thing that happened on that Saturday afternoon was when the then head of program, on hearing my voice, rushed into the studio and gave me a thumbs up. And then thereafter tried to say, tried to ask me a couple of questions if I actually work in a radio station. I said no. If I've ever worked in a radio station before, I said no. This is my first experience, being on radio. And that was why I said, I really love it to have you around. Will you want to do this job? I said, why not? And that was how I started with Joy FM Otukpo 96.5. And since September 2016 till now, I'm still enjoying my radio experience. Well, I'll always want to say to the younger ones, or even to the older ones, some of them are actually older than me, because basically learning never ends. Learning is a consistently consistent experience. And so you keep learning to make yourself better. Never stop learning. Whatever you do, as a media man for me, I learn every day. I still do researches online to better myself every day. Um, as a footballer, you train harder because you want to be better, every day. And so basically, there is no shortcut to success. Hard, smart work is a sure way to achieving success. And also, I'll say to the younger ones to be consistent in whatever they do, because success is not a journey. Success is actually not a destination, rather. Success is a journey. Success is a journey of hard and consistent smart work every day going at it. Just like it is aptly said, by the wise ones, that little drops of water forms a mighty ocean. So also is a journey to success. Being consistent in that thing that you do every day actually brings success. And above all, one cannot take away the God factor in whatever we do. And so I'll say, be very spiritual. I'm always be sensitive to the spirit and get the leading of the Almighty at every point in time. So that you hear from Him, you take specific instructions at every material point in time as to what to do next. So that you don't get weary in that thing that you do, and then ultimately it doesn't actually amount to the kind of success that you want to see. And then read, read books, whatever you want to do. There are people who have actually done it before. And so reading their books, reading their materials, listening to their interviews and all of that is just you getting an insight into their mind, because basically it's part of a portion of their mind that they poured out in those materials. So I would say read a lot about any field you want to make success of out of life. Read very well in that area, and just be a good person generally. So that at the end of the day you will be at peace with your maker. Once you're at peace, with your maker and you're doing all of this, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Success will come. So basically, this is actually my watchword. If I have privilege of talking to young persons, or the few privilege I haven't gotten to speak to people who are older than me in age, but who still want to learn. So these are the things I can say to them. Learning never ends. Success is not a destination. Success is a journey of consistent, hard, smart work.
Hi, my name is Ocha Regina. You are watching me live on Appa TV. Visit our social media platform to watch, like, share, and subscribe to Appa TV channel. Appa TV channel, my culture, my pride.
Apa TV Gogo da lọ gbọ́n mọ́.